Welcome to CUWFalcons.com 2013 baseball season preview. We're joined today by Falcons head coach Val Keiper as CUW begins the season next Wednesday, playing 9 games in 8 days in Florida. Coach, like we said, you start next Wednesday. Majority of your stuff's obviously been inside. What are some of the challenges maybe your team's going to face next weekend? Probably the first time they're going to be getting outside, and what are you looking for out of the Florida trip next week?
Well, the challenges will be, live pitching is always going to be that. We can simulate that as much as we can in the cages and things like that, but when you put it out on a field like this, or not like this, one that's dry and not snowbound or anything like that at all, it's a lot different than getting, hitting within a cage and stuff like that. So, and I think I'm be more concerned almost for the pitching in some respects, but we try to simulate it as much as we can, as this stuff happens, and that'll be the biggest challenge, I think. It'll be not so much even defensively, it'll be what goes on between the mound and home plate.
Okay, and now the team schedule, you guys play number 18 Trinity over there. You got St. Norbert on the schedule this year. They made the NCAA tournament last year. Aurora and Concordia Chicago both made the NCAA tournament. Pretty challenging schedule. Talk a little bit about that going forward this season.
Yeah, I think it was the first time in our conference history that we've had 2 teams make the NCAA tournament. I think it was basketball last year or the year before we even had those 2 teams, and I think it's a respect factor for the Northern Athletic Conference that we can get 2 teams in, and those 2 teams belonged last year and stuff, and so for us to face teams like that, and both those teams had successful trips down south, it will be a challenge, and we've always played pretty challenging schedules it is, and things like that, like some of the state schools or whatever else it might be, but yeah. We've Trinity, I think, even won the national championship a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or they've always been a perennial, at least in many respects. So it'll be a challenge.
Now, last year the Falcons went 13-24, probably a little bit of a disappointment. What does the team specifically need to improve on this year to get back to where they were 2 and 3 years ago in the conference?
It was interesting. Last year we were so heavily dominated by seniors, and we graduated, I think, 9 seniors off of last year's squad. And to say we were disappointed, yeah, as we started out so slow when it came to our offensive outputs, and the seniors didn't come around just until the end of the year and things. So the big challenge is, I look on the roster and I look at everything going on here. We've got basically 2 returning starters, and everything else is so wide open. We have 1 senior on the squad right this year, and the challenge for us will be is to figure out the bits and pieces, and who I think there's some talent there in positions, but discovering it and when we discover it will be the challenge for us, putting them out there at the right time.
Now, you mentioned the 2 returning starters, Miller and Berger. Who are maybe some other guys that, obviously it's early, maybe Florida will tell that, but maybe some people for the fans, names that we can watch out for this year?
Well, I think we're going to have to get some production out of some of the sophomores that we've had. Kyle Hegeman will have to be one to step up as a sophomore. He's probably going to be spending a lot of time at first base or DH or catching, even in that standpoint. I think he certainly is one, and it'll be interesting to see what the junior can do, Tyler Book, as he steps on the field in a more consistent role this year. And then, Brandon Seifert will be playing probably a lot of third base for us, and he had, 20 to 30 at-bats last year on the roster, and so for him to step into a full-time starting role, a local kid with a lot of talent, he's a dedicated kid, and I think those, to say a few, will be ones we'll count on. One more outfielder that we need to find out about is another junior, Jake Kaczynski, out of Cedarwood and stuff, and where he goes and what he does will determine a lot about the success of our outfield.
Okay, and then the pitching, you mentioned is one of the challenges next week. Who are some of the guys we can expect to see on the mound?
Well, there's going to be a variety of things. We had a lot of freshmen that get their little baptisms last year, but I think you'll look a lot out of a left-handed pitcher by the name of Joel Sharon. I think we're expecting a lot of things off of him, and he'll probably end up playing a little outfield for us as well too. Tyler Adams will be another one as a sophomore from Kettle Moraine, Lutheran High School. He'll be another one we'll look for some solid innings out of. And Austin Baglow and Andy Miller at the top of the rotation, both juniors, had a lot of innings for us last year and even pitched to some success last year. So we'll look for them. And there's a freshman or 2 that will figure things out, but a lot of how we'll handle Florida will be, not 9 innings. I don't think we'll try to get even, 5 or 6 innings out of any starter at any time, because we need to find out what they can do and how they handle it. And so you might see 3 innings, 2 innings, 4 innings, max as we go through the spring rotation.
Okay, and then this season, Capco Park is going to be the host of the 16 Northern Athletics Conference Tournament. does hosting that tournament maybe make it a little more incentive, motivate the guys a little bit more to participate in that, get in the top 6? He finished just a game back last year, that 6th place spot. Is there any more incentive there?
They'll look for that'll be a challenge for them. I know they've got it on their list of goals and things for as a team to make that roster. You know, as a very young squad with one senior, they've got some growing up to do, and when they can do it and how quickly they can do it will determine a lot of things. So yeah, it's one of their goals. It's one of the goals that we have for the team this year. I know, not my goals, but it's the players' goals for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well hopefully we can see you there in late May. The Falcons will begin their season next Wednesday by playing University of Massachusetts Boston. The first game scheduled here at Capco Park is March 30th, a doubleheader against Edgewood College. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.